This week starts with Valentine's, so to convey my love for Ashby, I'm in the yard. For the rest of the week, I'm on the road again. I have meetings at QPR, I have boreholes to drill, I have to drop off my car for some upgrades, and we have hurricane wind warnings towards the end of the week. I'm Daniel, and this is Asheville Weekly, episode 72.
This is going to be very embarrassing. I started putting things in my pockets and there were loads of bulges everywhere. Hour and a half a hole, yeah? Let's get inside. Because I could fit an Arctic in there. Nice. But they always manage to get longer and longer.
Give me at least an extra inch.
Woo-hoo-hoo. You want to have a conversation off camera or?
Hey, put it in.
We managed to plug the hole straight away. Well, one's enough. I have to admit this. You can't fit that many people in there anyway. But I'm not having it. I'm not scared. What a violation. Monday and I'm in the yard, starting this week with a bit of track maintenance. Last week, I saw one of the shunters filming the track, like he was filming it. I thought, why is he filming the track? Like, why are you trying to stitch me up? So I went and had a look myself and I realized, forgive me if I don't know the correct term, these spring clips and this plastic piece here, I'm not sure of the name. I noticed there were a number of these missing. So I went and got some second-hand ones, and now what we have to do is put this on the sleeper and put these spring clips in, and you need some serious techers with a sledgehammer to get this spot on. And now that we have all the spring clips in and our track maintenance is done, now it's time to offload the train. Not only is it Monday and I'm in the yard, it's Valentine's Day and I'm in the yard. Put up a little meme that Will put together for me. Let's have a look at that there. I thought it was quite funny. Not everybody thought it was funny. As you know, my mum is the head of distribution in St. Lucia. So I dare not send the link to episode 70. I dare not send it to anyone in my family because there's protocol, there's a way things are done. So I have to send it to my mum, and my mum has to distribute in whichever way or whichever platform she sees fit. And my mum has now learned how to work WhatsApp correctly. So have a look at this here. I sent my mum. Oh, Terry's here. Hello, Tezza.
Hello, Daniel.
What sushi?
Is this a
sushi, yeah. Terry, you're living life, boy. I didn't know you were that trendy. You going to eat sushi, yeah?
I don't know if I was that trendy. Come on, Daniel.
I just.
What, you said 3 years working together, you didn't know I was that trendy?
No, I thought that you maybe went to get a sausage roll or something. I didn't know you went to buy sushi. I didn't know you were living life like that.
Sorry to disappoint.
No, I'm not. It's not disappointing. I might just taste a little bit of that sushi there. Yeah. Have you got any teriyaki sauce?
No.
No?
No.
No?
None.
All right. Well, maybe I won't. All right, enjoy your lunch, Del.
Is that what it takes? Just no teriyaki sauce?
No teriyaki sauce. I'm not really into that soy sauce life, to be honest.
I'm pinching my food.
Yeah. I didn't, yeah. Okay. Well,
is this some kind of subliminal?
Well, boy, bruv, you snooze, you lose. No one told you to go and take the vehicle and move the vehicle. Someone parked in your space, innit?
Some kind of subliminal message.
Yeah, you snooze, you lose, bruv. You shouldn't have parked there, man. Took your space straight away. Going back to what I was saying, I sent my mum the link to the video. My mum sent me back this message here. I was happy about that. Thanks, Mum. It's not every day you get told something like that. If you're wondering about the WhatsApp picture, that is my great grandmother. So if you have a look at the picture here, that's my mother's grandmother. And it's a good thing that that is the WhatsApp picture, because my mum has gone through a number of WhatsApp pictures, many of which are very embarrassing for me. Let's flick for a few of them now. So yeah, I'm going to go upstairs. I need to turn on my computer, open up my office and start catching up on emails. I did do quite a bit yesterday on Sunday, what gives me a bit of a head start because I had a meeting at QPR today at the training ground. So we're talking about doing a few bits and pieces at the training ground. Not the new one, but the one which QPR are in at the moment. There's some work that has got to be done because the new training ground isn't going to be ready for the beginning of next season, where we could be in the Premiership. We could. I'm not saying we will be, we could be. So all we can do is play as best as we can, and we'll assess it closer to the end of the season. Wilson has popped round to the local printers to print something off for us. Now, in years gone by, I would have sent a pigeon there, but I thought to myself, if I send a pigeon and I attach this to the pigeon's ankle, I'm not quite sure how far the pigeon could get. This is for the basement salvage. Wilson, calm down. So this is the high image render for the basement salvage. Now I'm going to see the client on Thursday. And the client asked if we could print out in high res for him so he could take a closer look at it. So we've done our best. We do not have an A2 printer, so we had it printed locally on A2 in card. So I will wrap this back up. In other news today, at Southern Vulcanizing, we continue with the saga that we call making Asheville's conveyor belts. Let's see how they get on. In other news, it rained very heavily over the weekend, and it's always good to get the road sweeper out when it rains because all the dirt on the road that gets very tough, the rain loosens it up. So we had the road sweeper out on the road and the hose went. So now we need to get the hose repaired. So let's get that repaired. Unfortunately, I cannot share this with you because this is going to be in the basement salvage part 2 video, which is a home cinema. But if you do want to watch part 1, click here to watch that video, because at last the basement salvage is out. Guys, if you like construction work, I know when you watch what's going on in the yard, you see plenty of machines and trains and material and grabs and tippers and skips and concrete lorries, but the construction work we do hasn't been showcased for a while, because some of the jobs we do, the clients don't let us show what's going on, other than the Sticker Man's house, which we were working on for a few months. But this basement salvage video, we take you on an in-depth journey all the way through saving a basement which has structural and waterproofing problems. So basically we build concrete box within a box. It's a great video, have a watch of it. Look at that rain, man. This is no good. Rain is bad for business, Wilson. Rain is very bad for business, man. Why? It's just bad for business. Things don't happen the same when it's raining. Digging slows down. And people don't want to pour concrete. It just makes everything more. Look at that rain. It makes it, the roads are slower. Yeah, it makes the material heavier. Yes, Wilson, it makes the material heavier. You're right, it does. It's Tuesday and I'm not in the yard. I am in standstill traffic. This is a killer, man. I'm trying to get back to the yard to do some work, some bits and pieces, and see what's going on, because I have to be in an event at around 6:30 in central London, but it's not looking like I'm going to be moving anywhere because I haven't moved in 10 minutes. Now, this morning I had a meeting with my management team. Those meetings, we set time aside, but they always manage to get longer and longer because there's so much to talk about, brainstorming about ideas and talking about my future, which hopefully I can share with you soon enough. In the yard, things are moving very well. Loads of lorries coming in to load. No trains in today, but there are trains coming in tomorrow. So I need to do as much as I can while I'm in the car on phone calls back to back, trying to push things along and make as many agreements as I can. And hopefully the rain doesn't put everybody in a doom and gloom mood, and I can try and close some deals, because that's what I end up doing all day. But I'm happy because the lorries are out busy. I spoke to Teza. I like the muck shifting job that we showed you last week. That one's finished, but another 2 have started. We're delivering plenty of material. There's a lot going on. The lorries are active, but it's never all of them at the same time. You're flat out busy with the tippers and the grabs and skips, and then you've got 2 concrete lorries parked up. So it's never, I have to admit this, there has never been a day when every single Ashville lorry has been out working. There's always been a reason. There's been an MOT, or there's been a driver on holiday, or something like that has happened. So when that day does happen, it's going to be a great day for me. And do you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to go out and celebrate. I'm not going to jump up and down. I'm just going to take a deep breath. I'm going to breathe, and I'm going to say, yes. Yes! And I'm going to ensure that I give thanks, because it's important to give thanks for what you have. So, as I navigate my way through this traffic, hopefully I'll catch you later. I made it to Central. Get this, Kanye West has a new series going on Netflix, and I'm invited to the premiere. I feel very privileged because I'm a Kanye man, as you can see by my Yeezys. Yes, all the special ones, I brought them out. I hardly ever wear them, but I've brought them out for today. We're running a little bit late. Let's get inside, see if we get ourselves a decent seat. Bash the entertainer in the house.
You're not telling me. Are you playing, you know?
I can't comment, bro. We're just waiting for the screening to start. How long is Kanye going to be here, though? Is he going to be here?
All I heard is he flew from the Super Bowl to London, so he's going to show up. Free Yeezys for everyone.
Free Yeezys for everyone, but we're not sure if they have size 14. We're hoping.
What
are you saying?
These things are good, aren't they? Like the quality.
Bruv, it's crazy. Get this, yeah? Here's my little mic here. Hold on. Watch that, look. Spin it. See this?
Yeah.
Perfect clarity. Because before I used to film on my phone, and they was always crying in the edit.
Can't hear it, it's like all this ambient noise, you wouldn't be able to hear yourself.
Nah, nothing, but this is, and it takes out all the pop, 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 pop when you're talking and that.
Well, your videos are sick anyway, bro.
Yeah, bro, you're in it right now, bro.
Mate, put it in. Your videos are sick, mate. The renovations, the personality, keep doing it, man.
Thank you, bro.
Really
I appreciate it.
I appreciate
it.
That's coming from someone who looks for...
That's coming from someone who I watch as well.
I understand
so,
content.
Yeah.
You understand content. It's
I'm
really
trying,
nice
bro.
to see.
Thank you. Everyone's going to stay here and crack on. Not me. I'm going home. And it's going to be Wednesday morning. No, it's not actually. It's Wednesday morning. I'm going to be in South London. I won't even be in the yard, but I will be in the yard after that. But I'm calling it a night. What a great event. In the house. On the road again. Daniel is rolling on the road again. Sitting in traffic again. On the way to South London to sign off the year-end accounts. And I'm just thinking about the Kanye preview last night. And there's so many things that I saw in his come up that are so relevant to the same way that I came up. There's this part where he goes into the Rockefeller offices and he's just playing music to an office manager, and he's just vibing and rapping, and office manager looks at him like,
I've done that so many times, going into an office, talking to someone, and I think, you let this guy in here. You could just tell. And you know by the look you're getting that it's not going to go anywhere. But you already started. You started what you're saying, and you can't just walk out, because that'll be worse. You have to finish what you had to say, even if there's a small chance that you may get something off the back of it. I remember going to countless offices like that. We can do this, we can do that, we're going to increase our fleet. Disappointment after disappointment after disappointment, and maybe 1 in every 30 meetings you might get something, and then you think, right, I'm in there. Like when Kanye did the track for Jay-Z, right, I'm in there. And then the next job, they don't use you because you weren't competitive, or you weren't on top form, or you didn't continually remind them. Things have changed a little bit now with walking into people's offices like that, because we have a media presence, so people tend to know that what we can do. But there's still other challenges which you need to overcome, and it just shows the passion for what you do, and to continually keep going, keep going, keep going. And I remember that. It's still like that now sometimes. You wake up in the morning, it's disappointment, 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 firefight, manage, go to sleep, wake up, do it again, go to sleep, wake up, do it again. And maybe one day in a week, or one day in every 2 weeks, you'll get like a small step forward. But then the next day you may take 2 steps back, and it's just who is going to be more consistent and who is going to keep plugging away. Other bits like when Kanye signed, so he signed, you always have to remember, like, it's giveth and taketh. He signed, and then he was in a car crash and he destroyed his jaw. Now that could have been like the worst thing in the world. How am I going to rap? What am I going to do? But he turned it into a positive, and he made a song about it and used it as part of the marketing. I always say some of the worst things that have ever happened to me, they've worked out to be some of the best things. Like, and even documenting your struggles. Like, for instance, when the protesters turned up at the yard, like, we didn't know what we were going to do when they turned up, but we managed to record it, and we had a record of it. Click here to watch that video. And then we were able to put it out, and then other companies, they were able to use it in the training of what they're doing. So yeah, there's a lot in that Kanye video that you know, registered with me deeply. And it's all about just having that passion for what you do and never giving up. And you have to have faith. And when you face disappointment, you can't let people's projections onto you that define how you feel about yourself. It was a nice reminder. It was only part 1. I'm going to make sure that I watch the rest of it, but I believe Netflix is staggering it. So I thought I'd share that with you while it was fresh in my mind, because I was thinking about it when I got home. I was thinking about it this morning when I was making my coffee and my breakfast. And now I'm thinking about it on the way to South London. Wednesday, and I'm in the car. Left South London on the way back to the yard, and just going through the year ends. Something that's very important to remember when you're doing your year end accounts. Stock. I'm looking at these figures, and I'm thinking, how did we owe someone this money? And where's the gap here? Where's the gap? And I remember at that time, like 18 months ago, I remember the amount of stock we had in the yard. And as soon as I calculated what we paid for that material per ton and roughly what was sat in the yard, we managed to plug the hole straight away. So a few more adjustments to make, and there's a small adjustment to make with depreciation as well, because the lorries, the value of the assets at the moment, the values are relatively high, and I'm going to be running the lorries over a 7-year period. So when I buy a lorry, I pay it off over 4 years, and then after that I still run it for another 3 to try to sweat the asset. And after that, thankfully, the lorries are still going to be worth quite a bit of money, so that also needs to be adjusted. How we show that. On the way back to the yard, going to navigate my way through London, try and avoid as much traffic as I can, get back to the yard, I have another meeting, and then leave there, and I have to go to a quarry for a meeting there also, so plenty to do. Driving back, and I had to stop. 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago maybe, I was telling you about the time our shop in Kings Road, and I looked across the road and I saw all the lorries. And that is what was the burst of inspiration to start Ashville Aggregates. Well, do you know what? There's my old shop. So that's the shop. Ashville and Lux Castle were there. Here we are on the Kings Road. Lovely part of town. And I was standing in the doorway there, and I looked across the road And this is the area that was being resurfaced. So I stood here, standing in the doorway here, look straight across the road, and the lorry blocks it. Right, that's just great, isn't it? And now we're doing aggregates, and we're bringing it in by train. And on that note, let's have a look at the train in the yard being offloaded, which is ballast. It's a good thing the ballast is coming in because the ballast bay was beginning to look rather small. So we need it all. And our man Flo, yes Flo, the man in-house offloading has started. Flo, get that train offloaded. Good man. Back at the yard. Well, no gap in the train at the moment. But look at Flo go. Gonna do what I can for an hour before I head over to the quarry. Arrived at the quarry for my meeting, and I am 15 minutes early. So I'm just taking a look around at the setup here. It's one thing running trains in from other parts of the country. It's something else altogether having your own quarry. They're basically taking everything out of the ground and repurposing it and selling it to all of us. I love coming to a setup like this to have a look around. Actually got my orange gear on, going for a walk around the quarry to have a look at the reservoir dredging and see what kit they got around there and how they're pulling all this material out the river. That's how you know you got a lot of material, when you're using stone as your bund. All right, so if we have a look at this plant, inside this unit here is a crusher. The material goes through, and if you have a look at the conveyor at the top and the conveyor here, the oversized material goes into here and it crushes it down to between 10 and 20 mil. And then if you have a look at this conveyor belt round here, it takes it back into the plant. And that thing up there that looks like a bit of a train wagon, that is the log washers. So this is where all the magic happens. So if you have a look at this thing, this massive conveyor belt, this is where the material comes in from the dredger. Let's go for a walk. And here is that conveyor from a top view. So here we are out in the reservoir. So this one you can see behind me here, that is the main one that's in for repairs, and that is the barge with it. So that big clamshell you can see goes into the water, picks up the material, puts it on the barge, and the barge brings it over here. And if you look over there in the distance, that is a recovery dredger. So look at this, what a setup. I'm just looking at this mature boat here. I wasn't actually invited to go on the boat with the guys and go out to the dredger. I'd like to point that out, if any of those guys are now watching. Because one of the guys said he is an avid watcher of Asheville Weekly, and he subscribed. Nice. Back at the yard. I think I made a mistake. I thought the train earlier was ballast, but it turns out that I don't know what I'm talking about, and I stand corrected. Yeah, I definitely stand corrected. It was in fact a train of type 1. Forgive me for the confusion. The train of ballast is coming tomorrow. But more importantly, Flo offloaded the train in exactly 4 hours. Exactly 4 hours. Well done, Flo. Good man. So now we'll try to get that time even better. Try and do it in 3.5. But we are now self-sufficient. Hopefully Flo can give Kevin a few lessons also. Love that. Now I've got a meeting with David to talk about some bathroom bits. I have some more samples here, what I'm gonna put out here so they can be collected. There's a lot going on, and I prefer to be sat at my desk because I can make a lot more happen and I can be a lot more organized, and I feel like I'm on top of paperwork and emails. But what can you do? When you've got to be out on the road, you've got to be out on the road. I stop, man. That's our quote.
That's our quote,
Okay.
including all the margins.
And what have we made our quote out of?
I divided in a few sections. Yellow ones are subcontractors.
Yep.
So tiling, marble, I mean, onyx.
So the reason we're not doing the tiling is because they're stone and the stonemasons want to do it themselves.
It's like 9.5mm tile.
9.5 mil.
Yes, quartz, which is 20 mil. But again, we can find, I've got some tile which looks very, very similar. And you can use porcelain tiles to the same big formats, yes.
Okay. So basically those prices could change. The first and second fix and just building the walls in there.
One person for 4 weeks.
Fine, because the bathroom's too small. You can't fit that many people in there anyway.
No.
What about the demolition and taking away all the rubbish from there?
So I've got over here, demolition. There's not much, but
Have you
still.
put anything in to cover the existing?
So for our package, which is first fix, electrical, demolition, skips, removal rubbish, and so on.
What's the end price?
I knew you were going to say that, but I was waiting for it.
Do you know what my opinion is, David? The client has selected those tiles and they're expensive. Extract the cost of the tiles. The tiles in here with the masonry work is X. What can you say? Like if you buy a Lamborghini, the rims are expensive.
Depending which way he goes, there are so many.
Variations.
Like, yeah,
Fine.
you have to see. Chris will need to check if systems can be changed and
Fine.
so on and so on. So it
Fine.
might be, 2 hours job, it might be.
It might be a 1 week job because if you have to pull out the whole toilet system and put a new
Exactly.
system and there's no power running to the toilet. then-
He's not aware of this probably, yes.
Fine, okay, fine. I can obtain the sample, but you will save X. Give him a figure. When we're trying to go through and price jobs, there's so much you need to take into account because the worst thing in the world you can do is give a client a price and then later on you come back and say, oh, I forgot something, I need more money. Because basically at that point, it's your own business. We always have to make sure that we price our labor, we price our materials, we have a contingency. You have to consider waste, you have to consider travel. If you're going into central London, you have to consider your parking, you have to consider your low emissions taxes, whatever you pay, you have to consider your tool usage, and then you have to consider the time that's spent by the people who aren't on site, i.e. David, i.e. me, i.e. Vesha, the time that they spend on it. So these are the costs that we take to build up the price of a job, but sometimes it can be difficult because the client needs to completely make up their mind. But if we price a job at X, to do a certain amount of work, if the client chooses a tap that's £10,000, somebody may look at that and think, well, why does your price change? Because fitting that tap may require a lot more work. That's why we need to know exactly what we're doing and what we're using, so then we can really iron out the exact amount of work that's needed and give an accurate quote. But it's not easy. And when you're doing all this work, there's no guarantee that the client's even going to go ahead with the job. So there's probably been hundreds of occasions where we've spent all this time, done all this work, come to the final hurdle, and the client's like,
I think I'm going to sell the house. I'm not going to do it.
or they can take your paperwork and just show it to somebody else and just say, can you do it cheaper? And at that point, that person hasn't spent any time, they spent no time with the client whatsoever, and that person will say, I'll beat the quote by £100. And then they end up going with them and you've done all the legwork. So it does happen. The construction business is not easy. All of you out there in the construction business already doing it know, and those of you getting involved, you'll see all of this. But this is where you're working for client. This is completely different from developing. If we were developing, we would look at this in a completely different way. And trust me, I'd spec different items. Ain't it, David?
Perfect.
On the road again. Daniel is rolling on the road again. Get this. So I mentioned the Kings Road showroom. And then yesterday, as I was driving past, I jumped out and showed you. And I always say, my mate Johnny of Lux Casa, well, here he is. He's down from Scotland. And we're looking at the cinema at the Basement Salvage, and the project keeps evolving. So the client is now looking at all their interiors, and it's a real high-end project. So we've got loads of paneling and stone and stuff like that. So Johnny is fantastic with drawings. Let me show you a little drawing up on screen now. Johnny can draw anything, and he can...
A lot of pressure.
It's quite a lot of pressure, yeah. He can draw anything, and he can draw it relatively quickly, and he has all the know-how on how to get the high-end finishes spot on. So we've left that job, and now
That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
I don't think it's the nicest thing. I've said plenty of nice.
I think that's the nicest thing.
No, I don't think it's the nicest thing I've ever said. So we're leaving there, And we are now going to the secret job, what is no longer the secret job because Con told everyone. We are going in to have a look at the bespoke YouTube room that we're doing. And then we're going to leave there, and then we're going to go to QPR, because at QPR, someone else had some bright ideas of something they want to do with a few of the boxes. And then at that point, then I'm going to go back to the yard and start my day. And I think Johnny has his own gallivanting to do around London because he's only down for the day. So it's going to be a busy day. I know I'm on the road a lot this week, but it's necessary to get things agreed and get all the projects moved forward. Up and down, fam-alam. You get me?
Taking some final dimensions in the room before we put the final plan in place, present it on a render, and then do the final pricing. But this is going to be a cool room.
About to head to QPR for my next meeting. Someone has decided to box me in. Why you need to park under my spare wheel, I do not know. I'm not quite sure how they expect me to get out of there. Obviously, that's light work for me, because I could fit an Arctic in there. But whoever's car that is, when you come back to your car, don't try to blame me, because you parked there while I was stationary and you decided to drive underneath my spare wheel. Off we go.
Right, I'm at QPR. It's 1:45, 15 minutes early for my meeting. I'm just using the photography suite to warm my lunch up. QPR always let me use the facilities, very hospitable. Having a look at the stadium, it's definitely a lot more quiet on a non-match day, as you'd expect.
I never get bored of that walk. Look at that.
Right. I'm gonna quickly eat my lunch. Got a couple of minutes to do that, and I'll get to my meeting.
So there's a crazy idea at QPR. Now everyone at QPR is blaming me. They're saying that it was me who put it into the owner's head, because the owner and I had lunch and we were discussing what he could possibly do in the stadium, having such an asset that really only gets used 30 days a year. Now get this one. So we are in the box which is on the center line. So this box and the box next door want to remove this wall to make one open plan area. Now we want to create an internal and external part of each box, because everything is internal at the moment, like you've seen with our box. So if you have a look at the sofas over here, I want to move these forward a little bit, and I want to build a wall here. But above the sofa height, everything will be glass. Then we'll have a door here in this area, and then everything you can see after that will be outdoors. So we'll remove all the glass along the front, we'll remove this small wall, and we'll have a glass balustrade. But we're gonna need to pinch a little bit from outside, but having a look outside, it doesn't look like it's gonna affect much, but we don't have a lot of room. It should be really cool, but we can't really price anything like this until it's drawn up. So we're gonna get our architect down here. We're going to take all the dimensions from this area. We're going to put together a proposed plan, and then we'll show the owner. He'll decide, maybe he'll have some changes and alterations. And when we finally have all of that, we'll probably look at the structures, and then we'll be able to decide on a final plan. And with a final plan, we can price. And in my thinking, at the front here, normally in an external area, you have seats. But I'm thinking to replicate what we have here with the sofas at the front, have outdoor sofas out there. So it's a lot more friendly and cozy for all the guests. Let's go and have a look out the front. Here we are on the other side, right above the dugout. Plug. Here we are. So that is the box that I was just standing in. Now that I'm outside, I'm not sure how much we can actually pinch from this area. So that is exactly where I was standing previously. I'm gonna head back to the yard, have a chat with the architect and keep it moving. While I'm doing that, I believe we have a train coming in any second. Let's get it offloaded. again. Daniel is rolling on the road again. It's Friday morning. I'm not in the yard. I'm in the eye of the storm. I'm on the risky roads as the wind tries to blow my car all over the place, but I'm not having it. I'm not scared. I'm driving straight into the eye of the storm. Well, I'm not really. I'm driving to a project because it's not a day for it, but we have to do some boreholes. So we've got to put some boreholes at this property because the work coming up, we have to do some deep excavations and we need to see how far down the chalk goes. Oh my God, this weather is brutal. In the yard, we are battening down the hatches because we don't want any of the lorries or the LH60 to blow away. So another day of me being out on the road. There is plenty to do and I'm actually having trouble seeing where I'm going. Let's get to this property. Let's get these boreholes done. I just need to discuss the locations with the contractor and then I'm gonna let them make a start and then I need to get back to the yard as soon as possible. Let's make it happen. All right, so that is gonna get bigger, extension there, but I've only got the proposed plans on me. So we're gonna put one there and one here. And we need at least 8-meter borehole. Also provides information about the soil at least 2 meters below the formation of the pool. We're only going 1.5 with the pool. Standpipe well to monitor groundwater. Okay. Not required when ground is clay. Unlikely viewing the geological maps. Lab testing assumes standard to assist structural design. Moist content sulfate should be included as standard. Yeah. Geotechnical letter report should be interpretive to provide values of retaining wall and foundations on design. Is that all? Yeah. How long do you reckon you'll be here? All day, probably?
No, should be about an hour and a half a hole.
Hour and a half a hole, yeah?
Yeah, it shouldn't be too bad.
Okay. Right, so it's just that really, mate.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, makes sense. We'll leave it open so you can take a break. That's pretty much it.
No problem.
Thanks, mate. So the lads who do the boreholes are here bang on time, which is perfect for me. We had a little discussion about ground conditions. Ground conditions.
Ground conditions.
Ground conditions.
Ground conditions.
Ground conditions.
Click here to watch a video on Gildon Village where we discuss ground conditions. But it now means that I can get back to the yard nice and early and I can crack on with all my bits and pieces. Because being on the road all of this week has set me very far behind. I am trying to catch up in the evening, but with everything I'm doing in the night, I'm tired and I'm not working at my optimum speed. It's taking me about double the time to send emails and go through documentation. So now I'm going to leave you in the good hands of Dan Ferrati, who's going to show you a little bit about how we dig boreholes. I cannot believe this. I've got 2 miles left and I'm 1.6 from a fuel station. Oh my goodness. This is going to be very embarrassing if the man who buys 20,000 litres of diesel a week runs out of diesel just off the M25 on a Friday morning when there's a storm coming, when he's got loads to do. I'm 1.3 miles from the petrol station and it says I've got 2 miles left. Driving so slow right about now. I feel like Morgan Freeman driving Miss Daisy. 1 mile from the petrol station. Don't brake hard, don't brake hard, don't brake suddenly. Gentle acceleration. There we go, there we go. And really and truly, I shouldn't let my fuel go this low. When you let your fuel go this low, all the rubbish in the diesel now goes into my engine. You should never let your tank get this empty. Oh my goodness, I got 1 mile till I run out of diesel and I'm 0.8 from the petrol station. Oh, come on man, where is it? I can't even see it. At least if I can see it and I run out of fuel, I can walk to it. Ah, there's a hill. Ah, there's a shell. There's a shell. Yes, there's a shell. Nice. No, we're just gonna fill up here instead. Nice. Woo. Let me in, let me in, let me in. Oh, look at that. 1 mile left to go. And I was on the way to another petrol station which was further away. Danger avoided. Let's fill up. Now I'm not saying that anyone's on the fiddle. 86 litres of fuel. Well, yeah, anyway, there are no accusations here. I'm just making note of it. I just had a conversation with Tezza, and we're meant to get a delivery of cement, which we really need, and they've closed because it's too windy. The landfill where we're going, they've closed. A bunch of our other suppliers have also closed, so it's making it very difficult for us to trade. Now we're going to run out of cement today, so unless we can get some cement organised for tomorrow morning, we are in a bit of a sticky spot. So I was on the way back to the yard, and I thought to myself, there's no point going back to the yard and then going all the way around the 25 again, so I'm actually going straight to Urban and drop my car off, because they're going to do a few bits to it, what I'll explain when I get up there. But because of this wind, everyone is moving very slowly, and it annoys me, stuff like this, going to drop my car off. Like, I'm sitting in the car and I'm making phone calls, I'm back to back, I'm making phone calls, I'm chasing, I'm trying to reignite things, I'm trying to do everything I can, but what I'm doing doesn't help us make any money, and it doesn't sort anything out, and I'm just trapped in this vehicle for hours on end, and it's been like that for the past like 10 days to 2 weeks. So hopefully I'll drop this car off, have a chat about the work that the guys are going to do to it, and then I'll get a lift back to the yard. Is that him? Good? Oh wait, it is, yeah.
It's exactly what I
Do you know
expected.
what it is? I washed it earlier, but that puddle out the front there, when I went through that puddle
I've done all of this.
That's pretty much what happened when I went through earlier.
Yeah. It's looking very well used. Are you liking it?
I love it.
Yeah?
I love it. I have no
I
complaints.
can't think of a better vehicle for you.
We try and sell me another one?
If you want one, yeah.
Once enough. Once enough.
Okay.
I would prefer some more brake horsepower, I'm going to be honest with you.
I've seen your driving. You don't need more brake horsepower.
So what are we doing?
I don't know.
Oh, God.
Because Simon's planner is up there,
Yeah.
and he doesn't release it to the world.
Right, this is my understanding. There are bigger wheel arches going on here, some new ones.
So you're having the wide track, perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, good.
There's a new one because
adjustable
last
side
time it wasn't in yet.
Right, okay.
But that's going on.
Perfect.
That's my understanding.
Excellent. And a good clean by the looks of it.
No, you don't really need to do that.
You're not having the bumper scoops down there, are you?
I don't know what that is, but I want it if it's available.
Right, fine. Okay. Special British top and side vent.
I like that. Ooh. Does this make the car go faster?
It doesn't, no.
Okay.
Tablet badges.
Yeah.
We've got some really nice, like monochrome Union Jack badges.
Did I say Asheville on them?
They don't.
Okay. So what you're saying, this is going to replace my checker plate?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Does it come with checker plate as standard?
Yes.
Obviously, I'm not on the standard. I'm not doing standard.
These are the wide track arches.
Okay. Yeah,
And
I like
even though
that.
they're not any wider, they give the illusion of wider because instead of sloping down, they come out a little bit more and then down, so they look a little bit boxier.
Okay. Anything that makes the car look more aggressive, like anything that makes it look like it's going to monster truck anyone in my way.
Now this is what I was talking about.
Okay. Ooh, I do like that. Well, that must be going on mine. I mean, I can't see why I'd have driven all the way here and wasted a tank of diesel unless that was going on mine. That's what I'm talking about.
Now, if I've got you excited about them and they're not in stock, speak to Simon.
No. They are in stock because they're on Simon's car.
Do you know what? I haven't worn these trainers for months, and I'm really glad I have because they give me at least an extra inch. So I'm not looking up as much now. You know, it's quite nice.
They look a bit clean for me. I could.
Yeah, please don't.
Well, you got a lot of cars here, don't you? Yeah. And you can't make my car go faster.
No.
Okay. No. You want to have a conversation off camera or like? No.
I'm perfectly comfortable being on camera telling you that you don't need any more than 200 brake horsepower.
All right. Okay. Lenny, that's it, mate.
You're happy. You're
happy's a strong word.
You're content.
Yeah, I'm not offended. So, I'm not offended. So I'm gonna leave you to it, and I really like that bit at the front as well. I'm just gonna.
And you've sent that to Simon.
I sent it to Simon. Okay. Let's hope that when I come back, I go, wow.
Well, you're Simon Urban. You are Daniel Asheville, even though that's not your surname now.
It's actually my middle name.
Is it really?
Asheville is my middle name.
Is it really?
Daniel Asheville Louisi, yes.
No, it's not.
Here we go. Daniel Asheville Louisi.
I never knew that.
And get this. Look at those for endorsement.
That is impressive. I'm going to impress you now, because I'm not that far off.
You got a few bits on there as well, didn't you?
Mate. I've done my bit. I did my little bit of lorry driving back in the day.
So Asheville's going to have a new driver, Lenny from Urban.
Lenny Asheville.
Lenny Asheville's going to get behind the steering wheel again.
Okay, so Monday to Friday here, Saturday to Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday for me, yeah. There's also some Sunday. We could put you out on nights as well.
Who needs time off?
Yeah, who needs time off? Yeah. Hashtag no days off. On that note, I'm off. Back down the M1. What a violation. My sign's been ripped. Completely. And we put the bags of material that were going for testing, we've had to put them on top of my sign to hold it here. The famous Asheville sign. And I don't feel like my flag is gonna survive. My flag is under a lot of pressure right there. It is swaying in the wind nicely, but it does look like it's under serious pressure. I'm gonna have a look at what we got stock-wise, but I think we've got plenty. But the train, hey, the wind's blowing me away, hey! But the train on Monday has been cancelled. Because of something that's happened today, the quarry is closed, and that means when everything is set back that we are getting no material on Monday, but truth be told, I think we're all right. How are we getting on? It's great. Everyone's parking up at 3:15, which means they can't do any work because everywhere is closed. How are we doing? It's not their fault. It's unfortunate, but it's not the lads' fault if you can't go anywhere and do any work and everyone is closed. What are you meant to do? I definitely think we've got enough material, so do you know what? I'm not too worried about that. It gives us a chance to sell a bit, but there were no collections today either. You think you've got everything covered, and then the wind comes along and the wheel wash went off in the background. You think you've got everything covered, and then it gets windy and you get shut down. I've got a massive change happening over the weekend. We have to do it on Sunday so it doesn't inconvenience everyone in the office. So we are moving from one operating system completely to another operating system that isn't compatible with our current mobile phones. At the moment, everybody in the company shares the same diary, but now I'm giving everyone a separate diary, and nobody in the company can see anyone else's emails anymore. We've always had it where everybody can see everyone else's, but now everyone will have privacy. We're stepping it up and we're making it a little bit more corporate here, and hopefully it will help us to be a lot more organized. When new people are joining the company, hopefully they'll see this as well, and it will be what they were used to at the previous companies where they were. Always trying to upgrade, always trying to step it up, and I don't suppose the rest of my office like looking in the calendar and seeing when I'm gonna go and get a haircut. It's something that we have been trying to put in place for a long time, but this weekend is happening. No doubt there'll be some trouble on Monday. Some people won't know how to get into their emails, they won't know how to operate the diary, but it's something that needs to be done and everybody will learn, and we have technicians on site on Monday and Tuesday as well to assist anyone who needs it. Saturday and I'm in the yard. The wind has calmed down. And we now have a cement delivery. Thankfully. And then we were scrambling around trying to find the label for this silo. Oh no, the wind. Yeah. Oh yes. Oh, where was it? Oh yeah, okay.
Oh,
no.
It does not match. Please select an option. Ah, right, that's going.
Are we in?
We're whistling Dixie.
When they deliver the cement, they have to scan it in order for them to fill our silo, and we couldn't find it because the wind blew it everywhere. But thankfully we have cement, and thankfully we found the plaque, scanned it, and now we're about to get going. But I've been told of something else which has happened, which I haven't seen yet, which I'm going to go and have a look at now, which I'm not happy about. So let's go and see that. So the 8-ton machine swung around and smashed the window out on the 26-ton machine. It's handy, innit? We're talking to a couple of people about getting a new pane of glass to go here. Unfortunately, Liebherr, I can't buy it from you guys because it costs about 10 times the price. But there are people who do these panes of glass, so we're trying to get one back in ASAP. I'm not going to dwell on it or go into it because it's extremely annoying. and expensive. I'm not going to go into it, like, it is what it is.
Saturday afternoon, I'm a QPR. Today's a big day. We need to bounce back because we took a couple losses. As you know, I take a couple L's a day and QPR have taken a few, but today will be the day. Now, when I was getting dressed, as all of you like to point out, my jeans are very tight. I started putting things in my pockets and there were loads of bulges everywhere, and I thought, what am I gonna do? And I looked on the side and I saw the soft toy. I see all you guys walking around with these man bags, or what do they call that thing? What do they call it? A clutch? Man pouch. A man pouch and a clutch. So I saw this on the side, and what could I do? See it there? Keys, phone, everything, money, cards have gone into the soft toy tipper. So I found a new use for it, so it's not just for kids. My management are doing today, they're bringing a number of people down. Hopefully we can make some new relationships and possibly solidify old ones. So stay tuned for this one. There'll be no penalty shootouts today, but it will be a very exciting day.